Today, we're getting the insights from indie game developer from Canada, Frank the Dev, who's working on Becoming Captain. Hey, Frank, thanks for joining me.
Hello, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Do you want to start with tell us more about what you're working on, Becoming Captain?
Yeah, sure. So, Becoming Captain is a PC game, a roguelike deck builder, and I've been working on it since 2021. And it's a sci-fi pirate-themed game, and yeah, for Steam on PC.
So, when you say roguelike, for those who may not know, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's a roguelike card game. So it's all about crafting the best deck you can to win the to win the game. But the roguelike aspect is because there is a lot of replayability. You have to win cards. Well, let's say that death is not the end and that there is a lot of meta progression. But yeah, I don't know if it's the best explanation there is, but yeah.
So, even if you die, the next time you come back, you've got more to play with.
Yeah, well, that's the goal. The meta progression right now is not fully fleshed out for the current version, but it will be in the end. That's the goal.
So, has the design changed a lot then as you've been working on it, or did you have a pretty solid
Oh,
idea from the start?
no, hell yeah, it changed. It changed a lot. When I first started, I had this idea to make a text-based RPG, and then I added a card game onto the text-based RPG, and finally I removed the text-based RPG from it altogether because I didn't like what I was building, and I became more interested by the card game in itself. So yeah, I started crafting, let's say, a boat, and I ended with a plane.
Yeah, so 2021, that's 4 years or so. Did you expect it would take that long?
No, I didn't. The goal was to, like every game dev, it was to make a game in a year, and I'm going to make a game in a year. I will learn a lot, and I will put it on the market and do something else. Then, yeah, I realized that I was not really good as a developer when I started. You always overestimate the skill you have, and you underestimate the time it will take. So no, I at first I believed that I could do it in a year. I was working with my brother at the time, and he was a programmer, a coder, and I knew I was basically the typical idea guy. Like I was like, yeah, that's the game mechanics will be this and that, but I knew basically no coding at all. And now today, my brother decided that he was not going to work on this project anymore. So I had to pick everything up, and I learned C# from scratch while crafting the game. Yeah, it was a big learning experience. I at one point I even had to put all the code base down the trash and start all over. But yeah, that's how you learn. You begin with spaghetti noodle code, and eventually you craft something that is worthy of be called a game.
If you were to start over, is there anything you'd do differently?
That's a good question. I would say that learning like more the basis before I start would have been the best idea. Maybe crafting actually small games first that have no like that have no plans to be released, like game jams and stuff. Uh, that might have been good, but as we say, we learn from our and mistakes. And well, I learned a lot while I was crafting this game, so I wouldn't go back and change anything because just made a good journey.
So this is your first game?
um, yeah. Well, while I was working on this game, I made two other small, two or three. Yeah, let's say two small other, no, three small other games. Yeah, but they are not published or aiming for the market actually.
Were those solo projects or were they game jams?
I made one game jam with a small team here in Quebec. It was a competition, a contest. Yeah. Um, so one with a team, and the two other small projects were all by myself.
And so you were doing the programming, the art, and the music and everything, or what?
Yeah, basically. Solo dev all the way. But for becoming captain, we worked with an artist that produced the visual assets. Uh, I do the UI work myself using Figma, but I'm not a good illustrator. I can do stick figures and stuff, uh, but I'm not a visual artist. But I do the coding and the game mechanic. And for becoming captain, my wife is doing the music,
Okay.
which I love a lot.
How about the sound effects?
The sound effects of the game are sound asset that I picked online. I bought some. I downloaded other free ones. Yeah,
Are those the only assets that you're using stuff from the marketplace?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the only thing I paid for. Well, except for the illustration, but it's an artist that I found and I worked with for about a year and a half. Well, yeah, 1 year and a half. Is that all you say?
Mm-hmm. So at this point, the art is mostly done.
Yeah, well, for the current state of the project, all the art is done for. But when eventually I will want to scale up and add cards and add more stuff to the game, there will be more work to do.
So when do you plan to launch it officially?
Well, the demo is coming out next week, and then Wednesday, to be precise, the 16th. And then the goal is to go to the Steam Next Fest in June and release in. Well, I'm thinking about doing an early access after the Next Fest, but it will depend how well the game is fleshed out by then. If I have a lot of time to work on it and I'm mentally ready to call it like a done deal, I might release it fully, but it's still in the work. It's still I'm still thinking about it. But yeah, after June, maybe July, I will have a let's call it a ready version online.
Okay, so demo's coming out in a couple days. Probably by the time people watch this, it'll already be out, so you can go check it out.
Okay, that's good.
Um, Now, how about it's a one player, well, two player, or just single player?
Yeah, it's single player for now. All the mechanics are built so that well, the card battle is made in a way that will be easy to make a multiplayer out of it, but I didn't want to do that from the get-go for my first game online to make a multiplayer game. Some people are crazy like that, but uh, I'm not reaching that kind of crazy yet.
Are there different
um,
levels of difficulty?
for the game, I mean,
Yeah, can someone turn up the challenge and make it harder or easier?
right now for the demo, no, there is no difficulty setting. Um, I don't have a pool of player um, from which I could base how hard it's actually feeling for them, and not a lot of play time. So I'm planning to use the demo to collect feedback and know, okay, people think this game is easy or hard. So I will be able to then fine tune it and get a better idea of what would be hard setting and what would be easy. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Are there any mechanics that make the game unique?
Um, well, there is a couple mechanics that make it quite different from other card battlers. First off, there is I call it the central deck. So cards are made. Um, it's hard to explain in English for me. There is a deck of card that is usable by both player, and it's a card that is a deck that is used to represent all the items that are around the combatant. So I was thinking like a Jackie Chan kind of way where people are picking up objects around them in the room and fighting each other with them. So that might be one of the mechanics that is different. Yeah, but I got some inspiration from left and right. I think my blend of game is quite original, but I wouldn't say that I'm reinventing the wheel, as we say. It's like different in an interesting way, but still familiar to people that love the genre, I think. But I'm the one who makes it, so it's hard to judge.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you about playtesters and finding them, but so you haven't have you shared it with anybody at all yet?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there are people who tried it on it. It's currently available on itch. There are about 100 download on it. So there are people who tried it, and I've collected free feedbacks and all. But it's when it comes to the difficulty setting, it's hard to really pinpoint what's easy, medium, hard, insane. When in the past there was t- bugs and issue with the UI and things of the sort. So it was the priority when I was presenting the game, like break it and I will fix it then and show me where you find bugs and stuff. Now it's going to be more gameplay oriented because I'm glad to say that there are a lot of bugs that I crushed.
So, okay. So you have got some feedback, not specifically on the difficulty. Are there things that you've changed based off of the feedback?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of things, mainly in the UI and UX range of things, making sure that tool tips are well understood, well understandable, and like I would say that mainly for the UI and yeah,
Is there a
and the gameplay
tutorial?
overall. Yeah, there is yeah, yeah. At first there was no tutorial, but I wanted people to try and play and understand the game without it, so that I can understand what they didn't understand. I don't know if you get what I mean, but by making the player try the game on their own, I managed to figure out what they didn't understand so I can explain it. And I'm not sure I did the best tutorial in the world, but there is a tutorial, so that's good. I will refine it with feedback if people still are pulling their hair trying to understand it.
Yeah, I think tutorials are really important in games, and like me, I don't play a lot of deck building games, so there might be mechanics that you take for granted that I would not understand like very intuitively.
Yeah, that's right. There's also a jargon. I don't know if it's a word that you, yeah. There is a jargon in deck builder and in games in general that sometimes we think that people will understand, like a stack of um, effect. My wife was utterly confused when I was saying this word, but then understanding that she didn't understand it made me realize that, well, not everyone will get it, so better use another word maybe.
Well, I think that with the term roguelike, because Rogue is a game that's almost 50 years old now that most people haven't played, but it's such a common reference in the indie game
Mhm.
world that I think we take it for granted too.
True. I'm calling it roguelike because I played other roguelike, but I never actually played rogue. I think I should. Maybe it's lacking to my culture, but yeah. We're basing a genre on other game that are basing themselves on a genre that we don't know anything about. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I've always found kind of interesting. With the music, how are you approaching that? Are you doing any adaptive music where there's like layers that come in and out or anything like that?
I'm not really, honestly. The music aspect of the game, as of now, is it's really to set the tone. It's there, and I love the music we managed to put in the game. But there is a lot of work to put on it before actual release, adding more tracks and things of the like, and maybe having specified music for, say, bosses or other defined moment. As of now, there are not a lot of different tracks, so but they're good, I think.
Did you have an idea of what you wanted for music and did you provide a lot of guidance or did you give her a lot of freedom there?
I would say I gave her a lot of freedom. Yeah. I gave her like um, pointers, like because she's not a big video game player, so I wanted that to make her understand what is expected from gamers a lot of the time, and but then I truly like gave her the the free reign, and she quite enjoyed making them.
What is her background in music like? Does she have a career in music?
Not really, but let's say she does some side gigs in music from time to time. But she's more of a writer than of a musician, but she certainly loved music a lot and studied a bit, but it's not a career for say.
When it comes to the technical aspect of implementing the game and learning to program, was there any mechanic or anything that was particularly challenging?
Yeah, I lost all my hair making the AI. Well, at first, when we first made the game, yeah, it was hard. But when I relearned more, when I actually learned coding proper and the correct structure of codes, and it became clearer, and I understood how to make actual like diagram of code, and like visually explaining codes and making your idea before you jump on the computer and try to code it like that. So I at first what was completely crazy to me, like making the in-game AI, I managed to make it on the bus with a paper and a pen and just like block a diagram of this is how it will work. And it took me 15 minutes, like understanding what I was going to make. So sometimes what is really daunting, uh, when you make a breakthrough, it becomes like I won't say a joke, but like I went from, oh my God, this is the hardest thing I will ever make, to actually making it in 15 minutes in the bus. And that's the difference of actually, well, going to school and understanding what you're trying to do proper.
When it comes to the funding of the game, have you does your day job just fund it and you do it all personally?
At first, I went on, it's not Kickstarter, but it's the local equivalent. And I raised like 3,000 Canadian dollar to make the prototype. So that's like the first chunk of change, let's say. And I burned through it all, like it's gone. And then at the time, I was working as uh, well, it's not really important, but I was doing security, and I paid the artist while I was working. So that's most of the finance of the game come from me working and living under my salary, like my life. How do you say? Um,
Living within your means? Or
yeah, live below my means. Yeah, I was living below my means and paying the artist about like nearly half of what I was getting from my job was going to my artist. Like I was, yeah, that's a bit crazy looking back, but that's what I was doing.
wow.
I would recommend indie dev to don't do that. That's completely crazy. And first learn to code before you hire an artist and pay half of your wage to her. Yeah, don't do that at all.
So you've put some good money into it. Have you considered doing another fundraiser?
I was thinking about it, and it's an idea that is still floating in my mind. But to be honest, I don't want to make a campaign. I realized that Kickstarter campaign, like I made one locally, and it drove me crazy for a couple of days. And I realized that it's not a path I want to take. I want to finish that game and put it to people so that they play it. And yeah, I don't want the sort of a Kickstarter game for this project. Maybe the next one, but not for this one.
So how did you market your fundraiser when you raised $3,000? How did you get it in front of people?
It's all people from my uh, circle and extended circle. Like I didn't. post on social media. Really, it was all word of mouth and contacting people directly on Facebook, like I need your help, I'm doing this and that. So a lot of, say, let's call it word of mouth and direct contact. And in the end, we made also a bowling event where we invited people to play the game and like, yeah, really small um, efforts, but not small efforts, but like localized people who help.
So, how are you approaching the marketing for the game now? And when you get the demo and the full release, do you have any marketing plans then?
Right now, I'm really focused on X, Twitter, and this is like where I'm putting most of the eggs I got. Um, because since I'm alone, well, mostly alone, and I don't have a huge budget, I might be wrong, but I'm aiming to focus on one specific avenue. I'm doing a bit of YouTube, like posting video, and I think I might do more shorts and the like. Pardon me. But I'm really using a more focused approach to put all my effort at the same place. Uh, I don't know if it's the right strategy, but I don't want to dilute myself and be everywhere a little bit. I'd rather be like fully present on Twitter and see where it gets me.
And you're self publishing? Have you thought about working with any publisher?
um, I put some thought into it, but I didn't actually made any push for it. Um, I'm aiming to get the support of a publisher for my next project, which I've been thinking slowly about in the background, because I think it's the kind of game that can garner some interest from them. But for becoming captain, I think it's a game I want to make. Like I've started it from scratch, really indie, and I want to finish it indie style.
So, what are your future aspirations?
Well, my goal is to from live from game dev and make another game, another one, another one after that. But I would also the dream is to have a small team and be able to feed them and clothe them and have a house and stuff. Like having a small indie dev, that would be the dream for me. A small team and just make game that people love. And simple as that.
Very cool.
Simple as that.
Is there any advice you'd have for somebody else who wants to start making games?
um, yeah, I would say to start making games, I wouldn't try to go too hard on myself. Uh, there are, say, two types of indie dev, and there is like the business type, like I'm making a game to launch it on the market, and there is more the hobbyist style who just make game because they love it. Um, and I would argue that at first, when you're starting, maybe just make a game because you wanna like make a game for fun, not because you think you want to do this for your life. That's more the path I took. I myself believe that I want to make game for a living, and I took this way, and I kind of took it hardcore at first. But maybe just relax and don't be too hard on yourself. And it's at one point aim for the market and stuff, but like give yourself a chance to fail and make mistake and like stop making just making it so hard on yourself. Yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Well, before we go, is there anything else you'd like to share or plug?
Well, there is my our demo that is coming out Wednesday the 16th, if I'm lucky, because I need to put everything out on Steam as fast as I can. There is a 2-day review, and I didn't know that, so I'm going to rush it out the window. That's how every launch day is like cramming everything together. Let's go. But yeah, our demo is now probably out on Steam, so it's becoming Cat 10. Go and try it out. Give us your feedback. This is really what we need right now, is to understand what our player love. So if you love deck builder, if you love roguelikes, try it out and tell us what is good, what is not good, what could be better. And this is all we want, all we need.
Awesome. Well, Frank, thanks for being here. It was great learning about you, learning about your game, learning from you, and I wish you luck with the game.
Thanks a lot, John. It was a good experience for me too.